Hi students, this is the second lecture of the capital budgeting series, and I will be continuing from the previous slide. Yes, here we are, chapter 30, capital budgeting techniques, and regarding the relationship of the project, we can find out that the project can be dependent, the project can be mutually exclusive, and a project whose acceptance depend upon the acceptance of one or more other project that can be categorized as a dependent variable, but they can be mutually exclusive because a project whose acceptance precludes the acceptance of one or more alternative projects. There are some problems in terms of the mutual exclusivity of the projects, and these projects can be classified into scale of investment, cash flow, pattern, and project life. Regarding the scale, differences mean that a project can be small, a project can be large. If we invest in a small project, the size of the project can be 10 million. If we invest in a large project, the size of the project can be 100 million. And if we have two different projects, their cash flows would be different and their return would be different. Their time period can be different. So the question is that if we assume here the time period remains same, then still higher project, large project will give you different return. Their NPV would be different. Their IRR would be different. So it means that this actually creates a problem when the projects are mutually exclusive. And if we consider these two projects, small and large, their IR, small project may have more IR because the size is small, so return would be higher. So percentage return would be higher. And NPV is lower, profitability index is higher, whereas in case of large project, NPV is higher. And then the question is that which method we are trying to select the project, and every method we know has its own pros and cons. If we look at the cash flow patterns, cash flow pattern means that the money that you will be getting at the end of first, second, 2, 3, 4 years, and the pattern of the cash flow would be different because it all depends upon the project. Some project can provide you high return initially, and some project can high return at the close of the maturity. So if we invest same amount of money in project D and I, the cash flow would be higher in case of project D, whereas in case of I, the cash flows would be higher upon maturity. So the question is that these different cash flow pattern make it difficult to compare the projects. And then if we select this D and I, again their IRR would be different, but NPV and PI both are indifferent. So if we draw the lines regarding the NPV and discount rate, we can find out we have two projects, D and I, as we discussed that they have same cash flows, but the pattern of cash flow that you will be getting would be different. So NPV is basically a point where both projects are intersecting each other. And we know that IRR is a rate where NPV would be zero. So the project D is having different, project I may be more present value, project D is having less value of the project. And if we look at the Fisher rate of intersection, this point NPV, where the point actually intersecting both the project. So if K is less than, rate of return is less than 10%, I is the best. So if return is higher, the project D is the best. So it means that both the projects are classified on the basis of their cash flow. So the question is that the cash flow would be lesser, return would be lesser than the 10%. The project is I is appropriate, whereas otherwise D is better project. And the third difference is that creates beside this cash flow and the life of the scale of the project, there is a life span of the project. If we have two projects X and Y, X is having 3-year life, but in first 2 years we will not be getting anything. In project Y, you invest 1,000, but you will get 2,000 at the end of first year. So the life of the project is only 1 year. So if you look at this X and Y, their IRR is different because they have different maturities. NPV is different. So XY is appropriate in case of NPV and PI, but Y project is better in terms of IR. So the next topic is the capital rationing that actually occur when a constraint is placed on the total size of the capital expenditures during a particular period, because you have a constraint that you have a specific budget. and you have to allocate this amount of money. You cannot go beyond this. So, but the question is that there are different projects. So how this limited amount of money that you have in the shape of budget, how you can allocate in different projects so you can maximize your NPV, IRR, and PI. So if this question, if you look at this, only investors only have 65,000 rupees. That is a expenditures, that is a budget, and we need to allocate in different projects. So this is the list of the different projects showing the initial investment, the rate of return, NPV, and a profitability index. So the question is that we need to select a project. We have only 65,000 rupees. So we can go for the selection of the project first on the basis of IRR. So we can select IRR, those projects those projects which are having higher value of IRR. If you look at the project F, is giving you 37% return. Project C is giving you 28% return, whereas the project D is giving you 26%. So we need to select project on the basis of IRR, and here we go. That this is the picture of the investment selected on the basis of IRR. So we can utilize overall 65,000 rupees, and we selected on the basis of IRR, but the corresponding NPV and PI, we just write those values, but here the selection is based on IRR. Again, we have this question, and we need to select those projects where NPV is higher. So if we go, the project C is giving you higher NPV, number one. Project B is giving you second highest NPV, and G project is giving you third highest NPV. So we can select, the question is that we need to look at that 65,000 should be consumed. It cannot be more than 65. So then we can look at, and then we can find out. Yes, NPV, and the project is selecting on the basis of NPV, and IRPI also written along with the NPV. And if we look at the profitability index, now we need to select those projects which are having highest NPV. We know that one value, more than one, is showing the profitability. The 1.24 means that this project will be earning 24% return, 43% return. This project is actually earning 1.4%, 140% return. So the question is that we need to find a project. C project is the highest PI value, project G and project F, and then the project E. So we can select on the basis of the PI. Yes, here we have the values, and we can find out that the projects are being selected on the basis of PI, and this is the method. So the question is that which criteria we need to follow. We have different methods, and the question stipulates that this particular method is being utilized in order to select a project. So if you look at the post-completion audit, this is more important because of formal comparison of the actual cost and benefits that you can link with a project, and then you can compare with the original estimates. Because this post-completion project will give you an overview that what would be your weaknesses. You need to take corrective measures, and then it gives you a feedback. So the overall result of this entire analysis is that we need to make better future decision. And in this lecture, we have 2 questions left. Problem 3. Question says that company is comparing a half dozen capital improvement projects. There are 6 projects. It has allocated 1 million for capital budgeting purposes. So capital rationing is $1 million. The following proposal and associated profitability indices have been determined. The projects themselves are independent of one another. So on one side, we have a project, and amount is the initial investment, and profitability index is the only tool that we have. So we need to find out the project, different project covering 1 million, and then we need to select on the basis of the profitability index. So we go for those projects which have higher profitability. So we can find out this project is giving you 1.22% return, 22% return. this project is giving you 20% return, 19% return, 18% return. This project is making a loss of 5%. So if strict capital rationing for only the current period is assumed, which of the investment should be undertaken? If you didn't use up the entire capital budget, try some other combination of project and determine the total NPV for each combination. So we need to find out the NPV as well in this question, but we don't have any information, but we try to find out this NPV, how we can get this NPV out of this question. So first we need to go for the combination of the project, so we can find out how we can utilize it. So I'm trying to develop two combination. Number one, that we need to utilize, because why I'm going to different combination, because if the entire amount is consumed by using different project, if 100 million is utilized, then we don't need to go different combination. But we are going because we are utilizing less this amount of 1 million. So we have to go for different combination that can be close to 1 million. So we can find out that which combination is more appropriate. So I'm going to find out this project one is having the highest profitability index. On one side we have amount, profitability index, and we can select project A having the 500,000, the profitability index 0.22, and then we need to go for project, maybe we can go for project C. Yes, project C, 350,000, and the profitability index is 1.20. This is the first combination that we have. And in the second combination, A and D, amount and PI, we have 500,000 in project A, and project D is 450,000. That is in total is consuming 950,000. And if you look at this 850,000, and profitability index is 1.2 to 1.1. So this is the question that we have. So I just developed two combinations using this, the project A and project C. I selected consuming the total investment of 850, which is less than 1 million. Another combination is that we can consume is 950,000. So this is the entire question that we have. But the other part of the question says that what will be the NPV? So we need to find out the NPV. NPV can be determined that this is 1.22, and we know that anything more than 1 is a profit, and this is actually, if one answer is more than 1, it's a positive present value. If 1 is less than 1, answer is less than 1, there is a negative value of the investment. NPV is a negative NPV of the project. So here we can find out NPV by multiplying 0.22 with this amount, 0.20 with this amount, 0.22 with this amount, and 0.18 with 450,000. So I'm getting these values, NPV here, and this 110,000, 70,000, and 180,000 is your entire profit. NPV 110,000, and then 81,000, 191,000. So I'm obtaining this NPV by multiplying this 0.22 with this value, and likewise other values we have obtained. Now the question is that why we are developing these two different combinations. So if you put this money, profit would be high, but if you put less amount of money, NPV would be lower. So by looking at this combination is more appropriate in order to select the project. So again, I'm going to the other question that we have. So is this an optimal strategy? Still, the answer is no, because the company should accept all projects with a positive NPV. All the project can be considered, because we know that only one project has having negative value, because profitability index is less than 1, showing a negative value of the NPV. So it means that the company need to look at, because all the project is capable and their profitability index is close to each other, 1.22, 1.20, 1.18, 1.19. So that's why we need to keep in mind that. But the question is that why we didn't select the project E, because only this amount of money we can consume 200,000 because we need to maximize our budget by allocating funds into the investment. So next question that we have is question number 4. That is the question number 6 out of the questions given in the book. And the company may buy DNA testing equipment costing $60,000. This equipment is expected to reduce labor cost of the clinical staff by $20,000 annually. The equipment has a useful life of 5 years, but falls in the 3-year property class for cost recovery depreciation method. This is the MACR system, that is a modified accelerated cost recovery system. And if we have 3 years, the depreciation can be applicable 4 years. If there is a 5 years, the depreciation rate can be applicable for 6 years. And all these rates will be given the questions. I don't have in this question the rates, but the rates should be given. No salvage value is expected at the end. So once you can utilize this machine, the value would be 0. The corporate tax rate for the company is 38%. Rate of return is 15%. If profit after tax on the project are negative in any year, the firm will offset the loss against other firm income for that year. So if we have a loss and this loss need to be carried forward, so we need to look at that how we can carry forward, and we can use this in the question if there's a loss. On the basis of this information, what is the NPV of the project, and is this acceptable? In short, I'm just trying to summarize this question. If you buy 6,000, if you spend $6,000 to buy an equipment, this actually saves labor cost of 20,000 annually, and this can be utilized for 5 years. So we need to find out that how we can utilize this reduction in the expenditures, and then this project is feasible or not. If NPV is positive, then we need to go for this project, but if not, we will not go for the project. Just trying to look at this and try to solve this question. So first of all, first step is that initial investment, that is 60,000 we have, and the second is that we need to look at 4 years, 5 years we have, and if we invest, we can save for 20,000, and the saving of out of this equipment is 20,000 labor cost that we can save every year for 5 years. So we can save this 20,000 every year for 5 years. So I'm just trying to write here that we are trying to save funds, and then there is a depreciation that we need to charge because this is your income. And depreciation rate is in the first year is 19.998%. That is being charged the 60%. So these are none of the rate, and the rate will be given. I will provide you the rates, and because the depreciation is applicable for 3 years and rate will be given for 4 years. So 4-year rate, and this rate has been multiplied with the cost of the asset, cost of the equipment. So any year, in every year, we are getting some percentage, and if we total, this percentage will be 100. So all the amount will be utilized out of the cost because there is no salvage value that can be left at the end of 5 years. So the rates will be given. I'm just trying to multiply with this value of 60,000 and getting the value, and then we can find out the what will be the. So once we can subtract income out of the depreciation, then what will be the value that we have? So 446, and just I'm trying to write the depreciation, and these depreciation values are being obtained by multiplying the rate with the cost of the asset. And now we can find out the profit before tax, and then we can find out profit before tax, and we can subtract this 26670 11114, and then we have these values. So now we need to impose the tax, that is a 38%, and we are trying to impose tax at the rate of 38%, and tax is a cost, so we need to subtract those values. So I'm trying to subtract 2 and then 7,600. So I'm trying to subtract these values and getting profit after tax. That is 1. And 12,400. So these are the values that we'll be getting. I try to explain that first. I am writing the savings, that is the income, subtracting the depreciation, and it can be obtained by multiplying the depreciation rate with the cost of the equipment. And once we can subtract, we will be getting profit after tax. So savings are being subtracted out of the depreciation. We will be getting profit before tax, and then tax is being charged at the rate of 38% on the income that we have. And then after subtracting the income taxes out of the profit before tax, we will be getting the value profit before tax. But this saving is non-cash expense. Non-cash means that oh sorry, depreciation is a non-cash expense. Saving is an income that you'll be getting. We actually saving, it's an income, but depreciation is a non-cash expense. So this depreciation is being added in order to this profit after tax, to get the cash flows that you'll be getting out of this entire transactions. So just to summarize this, that first I will be getting profit after tax, and then I am adding back the depreciation amount, because depreciation is a non-cash expense. This amount of expenditure is not actually going outside the company, so it's actually remain in the base company. So it's a non-cash. So cash is not flowing. So we are adding back. So because we are subtracting earlier, because we are trying to show low taxes, because it's a phenomenon that every company has to accommodate the depreciation expenditures, and how they can take their own. So we will be I'm adding back this depreciation again back, and once we can add this depreciation earlier, and the value that we'll be getting is the value that is a cash flow. So 19,999, this has been added into the depreciation rate. And then 12,400. So this is the value. So I can stop writing. So I'm adding back this value 1 with this value. This is 9,999. And then I'm adding back this value with this value. We're getting, this is a minus value, so we can subtract this value. So we can add this value with this value. This will be answer that we have. So these are the cash flows, because earlier question indicate that we have the cash flow, but here we don't have a cash flow. We are just making an assumption that cash is say we are saving money, and if we are saving money, we are getting income, and we have to subtract the expenditures, and then we have to pay taxes, and then we will be getting. Now we are establishing the cash flows. So these cash flows we will be getting, and now these cash flows will be discounted. And once we will be getting this cash flows and subtracting 60,000, so simply I try to write here. So NPV, I'm just trying to find this NPV. I'm just trying only one value and discount it with the 15%. So I'm trying to find out and actually solve this question like it is, like yes. And the answer is a negative, that is minus 962. So thus the answer is NPV. NPV is a negative. It means that this project is not feasible. Why we are doing this analysis? Because in order to acquire an asset, and then that which can benefit you over the number of years, and the purpose of doing this analysis, that we need to find out that the income that we'll be getting, the money that we can save over the number of years, whether it would be worthwhile or not. So in this particular case, the company is not taking any benefit. NPV is lesser, because the benefit that we'll be getting in the shape of labor cost is lesser. It can be beyond this 20,000. It means that the NPV would be much higher. So thank you very much. for your patience listening. Thank you. This is the end of the lecture.